Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and Miniature video. And today, we are continuing on with our Napoleonic project update. And in today's update, I'm going to show off the figures that I have recently finished and based, and then I will bring up a list of the units that I have completed, as well as the ones that are in the process of being completed. All right, so we might fly through these figures real quick. What you see right here is one limber. I have all foot limbers finished for the French. I have the I actually have a total of 6 foot limbers finished, but only 3 have been rebased to the new 40 by 80 base scheme. And this one was the last one that I needed to flock. So I had recently just finished flocking this one. All right, let's bring up the next unit. All right, now right here, I've got the first and the second of the 61st. The 61st foot were actually under strength, and so that's why I have them as only 4 bases, close to 400 men. These guys were part of Foy's division, if I remember right. But when I bring up the list, you'll know exactly where they are. All right. I've got these guys rebased. Basically, everything I'm going to show you today is either a rebasing or a painting and basing on the new basing scheme. These are all Old Glory figures. And the 2nd Battalion still has the eagle. I guess I could have cut it down to a little spear point, but I've decided not to really worry about any of that. All right, let's bring out the next units. All right, and this finishes up the 4th Light Regiment with their 3rd and 4th battalions. Nope, I take that back. That's the 2nd Light. The 2nd Light had 4 battalions. These guys are rebased, all Old Glory. New basing method. The texturing of the base and the flock and the stones and everything. I really like my new style. But second, they have 4 light battalions. Now, FYI, this is 1809 to 1812 uniforms, but that's okay. I'm still going to use them in my Quatre Bras Waterloo games. All right, let's see the next units. All right, now this is the 1st and 2nd Battalion of the 4th Regiment. On my cheat sheet, I had it listed as 2 battalions, but as I was doing it, I kept looking at my numbers, and it showed that there was 3 battalions. So I actually did a little research to decide to determine why did my cheat sheet only have 2 battalions? Was there a missing battalion, or was it like a reduced strength battalion and I decided to roll it into another battalion or something like that? And the answer is no, I just made a mistake. There should be 3 battalions, so I still need 1 more battalion to finish out this regiment. I also want to point out that you'll notice the lights have a little red tip on the top of their uh, pom poms. That is for the 4th Regiment. This battalion doesn't have a standard. It does have an officer pointing right there, but no standard. And now the 3rd Battalion, I'll need to go in and do a whole nother battalion of lights, which I'm okay with. Yeah, these I just finished painting just yesterday. And so these guys are up and running. If I kn- it, oh, by the way, this is a mix of figures. This is not all Old Glory. You'll notice that there are two grenadiers in both battalions that are another manufacturer. I don't believe they're Essex. I think they are maybe Matchlock. It's another company. I don't remember exactly what company it is because about a year ago I went through all my figures and I organized them into little baggies of figures for the battalions. And so whenever I wanted to do a battalion, I would just pull that baggie out and do it. And I had put these guys in that baggie, and I don't remember what manufacturer they are, but they're not Old Glory. All right, so these are the last figures that I have completed for the series right now. So let me bring up a screenshot of my document, and we'll continue from there. All right, guys. Well, this is my, if you can see up here, that's my Quatre Bras order of battle. And you can see that each of these squares is a base of figures that need to be completed, or they need to be completed to finish the Quatre Bras scenario. And I scroll all the way down, right? Okay, so, and I got this divided by the French side and then the Allied side. And I got it broken down by brigades and by divisions, etc. And if you see any unit out here that's in gray, like these guards right here, that means the figures are already painted, but they're just incorrectly based. They're based on the old system. So they're finished, but they need to be rebased. If you see the national color like blue or red, then those figures have been rebased and they're ready to go. They are properly painted and based properly. Yeah, now here is that 4th Light Regiment that I was talking about. There is a 3rd Battalion which has 535 men in it. And this is how many men are in each of these battalions. It has 535 men and was at Quatre Bras. So I added this box here. Now this battalion here, or regiment, the 100th, also had a 3rd battalion, but it was just over 200 men. So I took that 200 and rolled it into these, because I think these had 400 men or 450 or something like that. And then I just rolled it in. Let's look down here at yeah, see, there was 420, and then 246. So by rolling this 3rd Battalion into these other battalions, it made it more size appropriate, right, for just regular battalions. And see, there's even the 4 battalions right, the 3 battalions of the 4th Light right there. I don't know how I overlooked that. I don't know how I overlooked that. Um, all right, so let's take a look real quick here. We've got none of, I have all the generals done except for Specht and Butler. So I guess I could go in and recolor them all because I'm not rebasing them because they're currently based correctly. So I probably should. But I have all of who with this with me finishing the third and fourth battalions of the Second Light. Now I have, and the 61st. I now have all of Hussein's brigade is complete. I have under Pyre's division. I've got the chasseurs finished, and I've got the lancers finished. And then scrolling down, Campy needs a little work. I've got a couple of battalions that I'm going to have to do. Plus, I've got a couple of battalions that I have to rebase. There's a whole light regiment right there that I need to do. Part of Jerome's division, Bowden's brigade, and then there's the third line, which I've only done one battalion of that. And the first line, I've only done one battalion. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. Now here, under Foy, I thought I was going to be close to finish, but then this guy popped out. So I still need 3 more battalions to be done. Now I could make these too small and then make it tiny, but I figured that wouldn't really be playable. So I'm going to take the tiny and roll it into the 2 smalls, making it normal size. I still have the guard cav I have to do, the chasseurs and the Polish and the Dutch lancers. The chasseurs, I didn't have enough figures, so I ordered some guard chasseurs. They should be coming in soon. I have the cuirassier and the dragoons, so I could do Hertier's division. I just haven't started them. And I have the horse artillery for Kellerman and for Pyre. I just haven't put that together and painted it. Okay, so let's jump over here to the allies. I've got all the guards complete. I just need to rebase everything. And when it comes down, and I also have Alton's artillery is all complete. I just need to rebase it. Now I finished Halkett's brigade, and I'm currently working on Kilmanseg's brigade. I have 2 battalions already that need to be. These are all Hanover in line. The Grubenhagen and the Lundberg are already finished. They just need to be rebased. And I'm currently getting ready to start, maybe today, the Bremen, the Verden, and the York battalions. And I'm going to have to be very careful with these because they have, each one of them has kind of a slightly different paint scheme. I'm trying to remember. I think the Bremen, have half the battalion is with red jackets and the other half is with green jackets, and all of their pants are blue. Where Verden, I think, is more traditional. They have the they look like your standard British, and then York, I think, are more all green. So we'll just have to, as I go get ready to paint those, I'll make sure that I've got little notes to make sure I'm doing it exactly right. I thought that I was going to start the Bylance Brigade, but then I saw that I only needed to do 3 battalions here to have Kilmanseg's brigade completely finished, so I decided I'm going to do this one. I kind of want to do a brigade at a time. That's what I've set my mind to. I think I want to do a brigade at a time until, we get everything done. Like the whole, well, there's two types of Nassau troops. There's the Uzigan, and then there's the Orange. And they're the 2nd Nassau and they're the 28th Nassau. They actually have different uniforms. So I went ahead and I've completed all the Uzigans, and I have the 28th in a bag. And you'll notice these are all large. These guys all have 8 bases. I did order some Dutch Hussars. So I need a couple more bases of Dutch Hussars. I need another base of Brunswick Hussars. Before I decide to start rebasing them, I want to make sure those figures are painted, and then I'll mix them in with the currently painted figures, so it won't be so, like, one base won't stand out as being different. I'll have it blend. But all the Brunswick infantry is already done. I still need some limbers to finish on the Brunswick. And then here are the Hanover and Landwehr. And let's stay with Hanover just a second. These battalions here, I had in their little baggies, I noticed that I had 2 standards. I wasn't sure if they carried the King's color and their territory flag. So I decided, with my infinite wisdom, to go ahead and pull the 2nd standard bearer out, and then just add another Hanover and line figure into these, so they'll only have 1 flag. Mainly because the flag sheet that I'm leaning on is the Fighting 15s, and they give like a great history of the units and the generals and stuff like that, and they provide all the flags that you need for every unit in that brigade. And they only gave me 1 national flag, like the Verdun and the Bremen and the York, that kind of stuff. They only give you 1 flag and no King's color. But if you were looking at like a British one, they would give you both. So I decided to only do one flag per. Now the Landwehr, same thing, but these guys are all pretty much dressed exactly like Peninsula British, with stovepipes and stuff like that. So they'll be pretty cool. I've done all the Highland units, the Cameron, Blackwatch, Gordon Highlanders. I did all them. I did the rifles. They just need to be rebased. And these other units I haven't done. Now you'll notice that one base has an X in it, and it's gray. It's because when I was starting to do my rule system, I took a bunch of skirmisher figures and I glued them onto a whole bunch of different bases, thinking, well, I didn't glue them. I should say I positioned them on a variety of different sizes and styles and number combinations. And like at one point I was going to have 7 figures on a 60 millimeter base, and then I said let's do a 40 millimeter by 30, put 2 ranks on there, and then I basically just visually looked at all the bases available that I thought would be appropriate for Napoleonics, and I settled on 40 millimeter wide by 15 millimeter deep. And so then I just, since they were already painted, I figured I could just glue them down, and then all these battalions would have their skirmishers already ready. And then So that's why I'm saying those single bases are already finished. But then it came back to me that, when I decided to change, now I'm going to have to rebase them. So, but I did put each one as completed and painted. They just need to be rebased. So when I do the Royal Scots, I'll only need to do these 20 and then rebase that. If that makes sense. All right, hopefully that does. All right, and in addition, this is not part of my dev blog, but this is part of my update. I did actually do a lot of work on my Marshals and Generals off camera, not in the dev blog. So in the dev blog, we'll get y'all caught up. But basically, I've expanded my table of contents. I fleshed out my introduction, a little bit about the author. We've expanded that. I expanded the purpose of the rules and the general concepts. And in scale and basing, I tweaked it a little bit. So that everything, okay, it looks like I still need to tweak a little bit. I'm not finished. I'm not finished organizing or rewriting or anything like that. So, and reorganizing and stuff like that. But I did go through here and kind of take a look and make sure everything was in the right order and everything is, see, there's too big of a space there. But how the figures line up and everything. And I finally figured out how to do a box like this. So we got the box with the ranges and the move distances in. But I will have the ranges in the shooting area, and I'll have the move distances in the moving area. This is just like a preview. And right here we do have the turn order, which I have pretty much got locked in. I pretty much know exactly how I'm going to do it. And then we have the starting after the turn order. It goes over the basically in order of the turn order, the rules. So like the initiative phase, the command phase, which I should probably take a couple of pictures today. Yeah, because these are out of scale, right? The 8, the 4, on all that. I'm going to redo that. Okay, now we got declare charges. The fire phase and all the modifiers, which I'm gonna put these in blocks and boxes and stuff. And then we have the activation phase, which you could kind of call the movement phase. I should probably say activation / movement phase, and then because that's when you take all your actions, which include movement and formation changes and charges, which all the actions revolve around movement. And then there's the movement distances again, which I'm gonna pretty much reorganize this a little bit better. And remember your actions, they're forward, wheel, turn, sideways, all that stuff. I'm starting to fill those in: forward, wheel, turn, sideways, about face, backwards, etc. And then the charge, which is part of your available actions. And then formation change, which if you're within 2, there's pinned where you can't move where you can't change formation actually. If you're within 2 base widths and directly ahead of cav or infantry. And formation change is basically just expand and retract, unless we're talking about forming a square, which I need to go into detail on that because my square formations are going to be a little bit different than some other game system squares. So I need to go better description of that. And limber and unlimber, I got that in picture instructions. And then there was something I completely overlooked. which was occupying, well, which was all the terrain, right? Like walls and hedges and all that stuff. I totally space cased that. So once I realized I needed to add terrain, I also realized that town sectors are part of that. And so I decided to put the occupy depart as part of the activation phase, which is where it should be. And then we go to close combat, like who is engaged, how do you get engaged. I'll probably have to take some pictures about that as well, and about aligning to your target and stuff like that. And then we go into morale, how to draw chits, what the chits look like, the numbers on the chits, etc. And then end turn activities is really just clean up. It's really just picking stuff up. That's really all it is. And it could also be other things. I just don't know exactly what I'm going to put into that section. And then terrain, right? So I added a section called terrain, which town sectors, linear obstacles like fences, walls, hedges, etc. Woods, which is like an area obstacle, which I guess I could put in their area. Then we got roads, hills, water features. Water features are going to be things like streams, rivers, lakes, coastline, stuff like that. And then various cover, like sand pits or scrub or a depression or a sunken road or something like that would be various cover. And difficult terrain would be things like swamps or bog, or it could also be a description of like going through woods, because woods, under woods, I'm going to say they're also difficult terrain, and then I'll put difficult terrain, woods, something like that. Unit rosters, basically they're just the nations, and if there's going to be a default troop, right? It's basically a human being, right, with a musket. And then there's going to be ups and downs based on what nations you're in. Like the British might have. I'm just spitballing this right here. They might have a plus to shooting, where the Russians might have a plus to morale, and the Prussians might have a plus to melee, and the French might have a plus to movement, or something like that. I don't know how I want to do that yet. But each type of unit, let's say like a cuirassier unit, I'm going to list it out. I'm going to give it its movement. I'm going to give it its pluses and minuses in combat, its morale, and all that. But it's going to be based on a default cav, or if it's infantry, just a default infantry, plus and minus what's already up on the. Well, I don't want to give them a plus in their chart, in their stats, and then have somebody say, oh, well, now they're heavy calves, so they get another plus. Or lancers, I don't want to give them a plus in two places. Okay, so, and then the QRS, which is a quick reference sheet. I'm going to start, I'll put that together last. Like once I've got all the rules hashed out, I'll be making these QRSs with, and the QRS is all you'll need to play, because it'll have the dice for shooting, the dice for melee, it'll have movement, and all the movement. It'll all be abbreviated, but it'll have like move forward, wheel, form square, etc. And it'll have all the modifiers, and that's all you need. So yeah, so I've been working on this quite a bit actually in the last few days. Okay. yeah, so stay tuned to my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the notification icon, because I plan to be doing some more dev blogs about the rules, and I'll also be uploading other videos with units and that I get finished, and any other changes that might happen to my Napoleonic project. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and watching this update, and I will catch you in the next one.